everybody. Alida Hernandez, Spanglish Entertainment News. I bring to you an incredible guest today, an interview that I think is very important for everybody in the world. Okay. We're talking about human sex trafficking and just human trafficking, okay, in general. And it is something that people might think, people, you put the news on and stuff, right? And you see news and oh, okay, they caught some guy, and you keep going like it's normal. What's normal about catching somebody who's human trafficking somebody? Okay. Our guest today, Tania Andre from the Mavuno Project. Okay, she started this foundation um, because she ended up discovering this herself, and she didn't even realize it. So we're going to talk about her and see her experience and how she started this project exactly. But before we get her in, I just want to give you some stats. There are stats that are so mind-boggling. Okay, right now I live in the state of Florida. Florida is a top place for human trafficking. Okay, and they have estimated over 700,000 people, okay, have been trafficked. All right, in Florida alone. I mean, it's the thing is it's insane. I looked up these numbers, and this is 2024 stats. Okay, highest number reported of human trafficking nationwide. So this is the one of the states the highest number of reported human trafficking. Okay, so it's something that it's a sickness. It's really a sickness. So what I've discovered is that right now there are almost 50 million people worldwide that are in modern slavery. Okay, that are in forced labor or forced marriage. They say it like, and the profit, that's the problem. People are making money off of other people. Okay. And that is the problem. What did they say? Money is the root of all evil, right? So if you love money more than you love God, you got a problem. So today we're going to have Tania come in. I have this shirt on. You can't really see it, but I'm going to get up because I have to see it. See my shirt with this big heart? Okay. This is how we all should be, with a big heart for people. And that's what Tania has. Tania has a big heart for people, and she's made it her mission to try to help other people so they don't go through this, because any of us can be trafficked. Okay. You see the stories and people think, oh, that's just a story on the TV. No, these things are real. In your own neighborhood, if you check the city that you live in, go to like the state, like the sheriff department, whatever who runs your, like the police, the state of Florida. You can read all the arrests that's going on with trafficking and how many people have been arrested. And now we have this new law too, which is great. We're going to talk about that too. The new law that you can get the death penalty now. They're not playing. Okay, it's enough. It's enough. It's like stop it with the children and the women are the highest that are trafficked. But anyway, let's give a good round of applause for Tania, and let's have her come in. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Alida. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, when I have different guests, I always do my research. So when I start doing research and I start looking at these numbers, this is crazy. This is beyond. I mean, over 50 million people worldwide are stuck in some kind of forced labor, forced marriages. There's different things, right, in different countries.
Correct. I mean, everything, human trafficking looks different in a lot of different areas, but what we do know is that it does not discriminate. This can happen to any and everyone regarding of race, gender, economic status. And it's a horrible crime happening on an international world scale.
Yeah, it really is. So tell me a little bit about yourself. When did you start the foundation, and basically how did you start it? Like, what was the brainstorm?
That's a great question. Well, Alida, I was I am a survivor of child sexual abuse.
Mm.
I was sexually abused at the age of about 3 years old. And I grew up with that trauma
Mm.
of having been traumatized as a child, and still very much to this day, still remembering the abuse, exactly the way some of the things happened. It happened throughout time. It wasn't like a one-time thing. So I grew up with that pain inside of me of feeling like something my childhood had been stolen away.
Mm.
And I grew up, obviously became an adult, and a lot of times what we do as adults is that we have blocked trauma,
Mm.
right? And then it comes out at the most weirdest times of our lives. So I started working in corporate America shortly after I left college here in Miami, Florida. And one day I called the VP of my company and I said, I quit. I couldn't
Mm.
do it anymore, because I felt a nudge in my heart.
Mm.
I call it God. Other people call it other things, but I felt a godly nudge in my heart that was letting me know that if I did not find healing, that if I did not find my purpose in life, that I would die a slow death. And I believe that there's a lot of us out there that are dying a slow death because we haven't come face to face with our pain or what has hurt us the most.
Mm.
So I went in that journey of quitting my job and I started to sell jewelry to try to make money to pay the bills, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't making the money that I had hoped for. And I started praying and I started asking God, where would the money come? Where would the money come? And I know that this is probably going to be against a lot of people's beliefs, but I felt the next tug in my heart. And I felt to go sell jewelry inside of the strip club of a nearby strip club that was actually very close to the church that I was attending
Mm.
at the time,
Wow.
right? And as a believer, a lot of times when we look at those places, we tend to judge more than to understand those
Mm.
types of places. And I struggled with that, and I struggled with that feeling, and all I kept thinking was, what are they gonna think of me? What are people that don't know, right,
Mm.
that I'm feeling this from God, gonna think of me? And again, he kind of, I kind of felt slapped in the face and said, well, who cares?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, isn't that what Moses did when, I
Mm.
mean, Noah, when he was building the ark, everybody was looking at him all crazy, right?
Mm.
So I said, okay, I'm just going to obey because I was desperate. I was really desperate to find healing and to find life again.
Mm.
And I did. I stood in the parking lot for 6 months. And after 6 months, the owner of the strip club comes out from the club, walks to where I was parked, and says to me, I really like your work ethic. And he goes,
Mm.
I have prepared a table for you inside of the locker room of where the girls get ready. So I'm a believer, and there is a verse in the Bible that says that God will prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemies.
Mm.
And that is exactly what he did. I walked into that strip club, and what I found was the enemy of human trafficking. And I started to sell jewelry inside where girls were being trafficked in the back. In the locker rooms, girls as young as 13, 14-year-olds were forced to dance and then have to sell their bodies to the clients at the strip club. And a lot of this was actually unknown to the owners of the strip club because everything was very organized, right? Very down low, like you would say, underground, you know?
Right.
So, but how did I know? How did I know this was happening? Well, there's a time that I always like to call it la hora loca. And that was mostly around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when a lot of the girls, unfortunately, in those places have to drug themselves. They have to take some type of a substance in order to continue to do what they were asked to do, which is the dancing, which is the sex acts, which is the drinking, the partying. You know, you can't physically do that in a sound mind on a consistent basis.
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine.
So when La Hora Loca would come up, those girls would start to talk. And for 2 years, I became a stable face for those girls, where they would confide in me all the things that they were going through, the forced acts that they had to do. A lot of the times the girls weren't even allowed to eat until they had their first dance at the strip club.
Oh, wow.
You know, there's a lot of things that happen where people think that because they're dancing there by choice, and that they're making a lot of money. Well, I'm going to tell you, they are making a lot of money, but I have literally seen girls have to give their money to their pimp, to their pimp, aka trafficker, as soon as they walk out of the stage.
Oh, wow.
So I was able to experience that for 2 years, and I saw some things that were traumatic, and that I wish no other person would go through what I have seen. But the one thing, Alida, that made me compassionate and have empathy for these girls that I saw is that a lot of times they would tell me about their own trauma. They were victimized as children. They were also traumatized with whether it was abuse, whether it was abandonment, whether it was something. And that's where I made the connection to say, you know what, this could happen me. This could happen me. How can I have sympathy, you know, for people that are dealing with this horrible crime? And that's where the connection happened. And that's when I knew that I needed to tell people, that I needed to be a voice of awareness, a voice of prevention, to tell people, especially children and young girls and young boys, that this is happening.
Yeah, that is powerful. That's powerful. You know,
it's all God.
Yes, it is. It is all God. That's what I do. Everything is because of God. I'm here. I'm alive because of God. Okay.
Amen.
You know, I mean, he saved my life several times. I was like, this close, you know.
Right.
So, yeah, no, that's how I wish everybody could live their life like that, to realize that we have a mission on this planet, and most of us never know what that is. So thank God that you got that purpose, and I have purpose as well, and we just want to help other people, right? To learn what their purpose is, to help. And we all have a big heart, you know, and this thing about human trafficking. I mean, I've seen, you drive by, you see the strip clubs, you see different things, and you wonder, you know, I never had gotten into a strip club until, I was maybe like 15 years ago, the first time ever. And I was with a group of people. We were out drinking, you know, partying, having a good time. I'm like, no big deal, right? I walked in and I was like, oh, the darkness in there, and the women, it was sad, because the women weren't happy. They were there like they had to be there, and I was just really, it just threw me back. Just wow.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's unfortunate that music is number one. Music, the entertainment industry has glamorized these dark places.
And
We see them on videos. We see them, every music video, has some type of a strip club reference to it almost nowadays,
yeah,
especially in the Latin and brown, the brown and black communities. We need to talk about this more,
yeah,
because it's not about, I am not here to judge someone's moral compass. That's not what I'm here to do. But I am here to say that, where do you want to spend your money? Because if you go there to spend your money, you are aiding and abiding human trafficking.
think about that, people. Okay, you go to a strip club or any place that exploits men or women.
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
your money is going to make that happen, to get more human trafficking. I mean, these people are being kidnapped from their families. They're being snatched up from the street. Children, I can't even think about it because it makes me so upset. The abuse on children, and and it's unfortunate. I mean, I don't know how many people, we both grew up in the same place. We just found out we're both New Yorkers.
I'm from the
So,
Bronx. I'm from the Bronx.
yeah. Well, my I didn't live in the Bronx, but my birth certificate says Bronx. I said, okay, I guess I was born in the Bronx.
Nice, nice.
But my family grew up in New York, and being in New York, you know how many people there are in the New York City
Yes,
just
yes.
constantly walking around, and I never thought about anything like that. You know?
I always like to say, Ali, that it is the most um, hidden, outwardly crime
Yep.
that has ever existed. Because you could really be walking around the street think of it, something as simple as this, getting our nails done.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
the lady that's getting our nails done is being trafficked, and she's being forced, because it's not just sex, it's also forced labor.
Labor. Yep.
So it could be getting a massage,
Hmm.
and the girls are being forced to ask clients if they want extra services.
Yeah.
you
I
know
went. Yeah. Yeah.
it, you know so
I went to a massage parlor near down south, because I needed a really good massage, and I said I'm going to go to like a Chinese lady or a Thai, because they get some real deep in there. So I went there, and I was like nervous because I went in, it was so dark inside. And she's, oh no, go lie down in the room. I'll be right back. I'm like, can you put some lights on? Like, I was really, like, I wasn't sure if I should stay or not. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And thank God nothing happened. I got the massage and I left, but I never went back there again. When I got home, I told my husband something felt really off. Like the massage parlor was one girl in the whole place. It was very dark, and I felt uncomfortable because I had to keep checking that it was her that was touching me. Like, I felt, you know what I mean, like I felt
yeah.
somebody else was in the room somewhere. It was
And a
just a
lot of
weird feeling.
times, Ali, that we have to pay attention to that. We have to pay attention to what our gut tells us, to what our heart is telling us sometimes, because that's real.
Yeah.
That's real. I honestly would not trust any place that's open 24 hours.
Thank you.
There, there is no excuse, and I'm sure people can find 100 excuses, but if you're 3 o'clock in the morning getting a massage done, I mean, yes, there are people that work overnight that have like a night life, right?
Right.
Because they work a
Right.
night shift. But most of the time at those hours, people are still working. They're still in there. It's just,
Yeah.
it's suspect. I've never liked it. Me and my husband, we are very careful of where we go get
Mhm.
massages and things like that. So it could even um it can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
It can happen anywhere. We're from Florida, and a couple of years ago, there was a golf country club in West Palm Beach that was raided because they were having forced labor with Asian immigrants that were working in the country club, and they were being labor trafficked. in a
Wow.
country club. So, I mean, those are the things that we're encountering that are happening. You know, human trafficking is $150 billion industry in the world. It is generating a lot of money, and it goes way deeper than people being kidnapped on
Yeah.
the street. It's way deeper than that.
It's crazy. I mean, the stats that I was talking about, and actually the new stats said is up to $236 billion. Okay, just like almost doubled. And the I mean, you're talking about, they said there's over 50 million people worldwide that are in some kind of modern slavery, forced labor, or whatever they're doing. They're not, and we touched on America is one thing, and then you have other countries like Thailand, Vietnam,
Correct.
all those places that trafficking people, labor, Philippines, Singapore, all those Asian countries. And then in between everything else. I mean, it's nobody's how do you say it? It doesn't matter what country you're from.
Right.
It's happening everywhere.
Right. I will tell you this. So I'm glad that you mentioned the international crisis, which is why the Mavuno Project has a Mavuno missions program. So when I was in the strip club selling jewelry, I met girls that were forced. They will literally tell me, I have to do this in order to pay my coyote back.
Oh,
Listen, this happened back in 2009, 2008, 2009. No one was talking about human trafficking. It wasn't even a thing back then.
mhm.
So when you hear someone say, I was forced to do that, you think that it's an agreement.
Mm,
You don't even know what you're hearing. But now looking back, I knew that girl was being trafficked.
mhm.
So I met girls from Santo Domingo. I met
Mm,
girls from Venezuela. I met girls obviously from Cuba, because we're so close and there's a large immigration, population from
yeah,
Cuba.
yeah.
And when I started the Mavuno Project, I felt in my heart, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get emotional.
It's okay.
I felt in my heart that I owed it to those girls,
Mm,
because I didn't know what human trafficking was. I didn't know that was a crime. So those girls continued there. I
mm,
didn't know back then how to fight for them. So
mm.
I felt like I owed it to those girls. So we developed the Mavuno Missions Program. And now we have teams that go into those countries. We have been to the Dominican Republic. We've been to Puerto Rico, to Panama, to
Mm,
Nicaragua,
wow.
to advocate and to raise awareness and to prevent girls and young boys to come into this country thinking that they're going to have the American dream, and it ends up in a nightmare. So we're really passionate, not just about raising awareness here in Florida locally, but about doing it internationally as well.
That's so important. And us being Latino, there's Latinos were
Yes,
everywhere. They can get trafficked from one island to another island to another country, and then now
right.
they're in Austria or something, and you don't even know what's going on. No, you touched me very much. This is very, very powerful. I was just thinking, I got a memory. I used to live in Hollywood, California. After I left New York, I
Okay.
went to California. So it was 1987, and I was single. I would go to the bars at night, go to the clubs. I love my music, so was doing the rock stuff back then.
I know, I see that you got freestyle here. Listen, I
Oh,
love freestyle, okay?
yeah. Hey, we grew up with freestyle. We made freestyle from the Bronx,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So yeah, so we do another show on Thursday. We interview freestyle artists. So that's what we do.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, Lisa and Nicole Jam. Love
yeah,
it. Love it.
yeah, yeah. So, but anyway, I was thinking about when I was in LA in 1987. I used to go out by myself. Okay. But I was always, I'm from New York, so we're very savvy. We're always watching our surroundings. We grew up We grew up in the city, you always have to watch your surroundings. So I was pretty aware, watching. But when you start drinking and you're going to places like that, it's difficult. Once there's anything in your system, it changes your, inhibition, all that stuff, right? But this man started talking to me, and he said to me, he goes to me, he told me, Alita, you just moved here. I said, yeah, we're just talking. And he says, please be very careful. And I go, why? He said, no, Hollywood is a very strange city. This was 87. He said to me that he was kidnapped, like he was actually taken and put in a dungeon for like a week or something. Finally, he got out, but sexually abused, tied up, and whatever, all this stuff. And I was like, what? I was like, are you serious? He said, no, I'm very serious. And I wasn't the only one there, he told me. So he like told me this, and that made me like open my eyes. So now I was like, okay, I got to be careful. I'm going out by myself. I was 23 years old at the time. You know what I mean? I'm a young girl. It could have been me. They could have taken me. Right. And I go, thank God. I say, God's angel, God protected me all the time, because I got into the nightlife, and unfortunately, and back then I got into drugs. So it was crazy. I was out 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We were still up partying back in the 80s. Okay. And I remember going to places like this one woman, she was doing prostitution. And I'm like, why do you do that? Not prostitution, sex films.
Yeah.
Okay. And she was not okay. She was always on drugs, on something, because she couldn't handle it because the abuse that she's going through. Yeah. And I'm like, this is dark. I started seeing some darkness, and I got away. You know what I mean? Like I said, oh, this is dark out here. This is not what I like. I could feel the energy. So I said, no, yo voy pa casa. I'm going home, and I started changing my lifestyle.
Oh, okay? Good. Yeah.
God started showing me, hey, this is what's the dark world. Yes. And it can happen to anyone. It can happen to any woman.
I'm glad that you mentioned pornography, Alida.
Oh, that's
because it's been so disturbing. But now that moving forward, now there are actual cases where people think that they are watching a regular porn film, and what they're really watching is the woman being raped right at that moment.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And it's so disturbing. It is so disturbing what is going on in the pornography industry. And again, I am not here to judge people's moral compass, but I am here to say, hey, if you watch this and you're spending money watching this, you are an accomplice.
Yes.
You are contributing to this crime.
Yeah. Yeah. And pornography. Whew, I stumbled onto pornography, I don't know, 30 years ago, 20 years ago on the internet, and it scared the heck out of me. I went, what the heck is that? Like, I was scared to my core, because what you're saying is true. I saw something that I said, that's not fake. That's real. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, I couldn't. I was like, what the heck is going on? And not knowing, what do you do? Right. So I'm happy that you created a foundation to help people. And there are other things, out there. There are other foundations out there too, all around the world. Absolutely. Trying to help out with this. And because we need millions of people. We need everybody to be aware. And that's what you're doing, right? Making everybody aware.
Yes.
And how are you educating people? Do you have like clinics and things like that?
Well, actually, thank you for asking. So we developed a program called Safe Schools, Safe Kids, Safe Communities, right? So think about a funnel. So we start with educating teachers here on how to create safe schools, right? And then we go from educating teachers on how to prevent and also how to detect human trafficking, right, in the classroom. So we go from that tip of the pyramid, teachers, and then we go to students. So we do in-school workshops and assemblies where we give presentations to the students on tactics that the traffickers use to lure kids into the lifestyle, to
Wow.
lure kids into human trafficking. So we are empowering children and youth with the tools that they need to identify if anyone online, on
Mm,
social media, on games, is
yeah.
trying to lure them in, right? And that, so that's the safe schools, safe kids, and
Right.
then safe communities. We do community outreaches where we're feeding people, we're bringing in, through partnerships and other organizations, free dental clinics, free mobile clinics, resources that people need so that they don't feel vulnerable, because
Wow.
vulnerabilities is a factor in human trafficking. If you don't
Yeah.
have food and there's someone that's coming to say, hey, I'll feed you, you're going to be vulnerable to that.
Yeah.
So we do that twice a year. We do 2 community outreach events a year, one for teachers and one for kids and families, mostly in the summer, where we're bringing the community together
Mm,
and raising awareness here in South Florida, in both Broward and Miami-Dade. So that's our program: Safe Schools, Safe Kids, Safe Communities. And then we also have the Mavuno Missions, which is the missions program that we spoke about. And if anyone wants more information about what we're doing, we are on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn at the Mavuno Project. And also you can go to our website, themavunoproject.com.
yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And right now, one of my friends is on here, and she said that it's very common in the girls dancing at the clubs for money in South Alabama. She's in Alabama.
Yes.
So there's another thing too in the States here from Florida. You're going up to the Panhandle, and it goes to Alabama. So, the trafficker, they're in Florida. They're here. And
Yeah.
because of all the international flights that are coming in, I just went on a cruise, and on the cruise, I'm like, why are they so strict? You have to have your ID in and out every single time. They take a picture of you to make sure they're the same person, because who knows what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
So,
There is a lot of transportation back and forth. I've
yeah,
met girls that were being transported here from even as far as North Carolina.
wow. Yeah,
So there is a lot of back and forth. That's why we need everybody. We need law
yeah,
enforcement. We need advocates,
yeah,
advocates like you now, that
yeah.
if you see something, you say something. So everyone is needed to be part of this cause to prevent this from happening to our children and to women and men,
And
everyone.
one too, everybody, because anybody can be grabbed.
Correct.
I remember they have, I mean, there's stories all the time. And I was looking up on here, I'm up towards Central Florida, right? So, in the Brevard County area, and there's been a lot of things going on this side of Florida, and also I forgot, I think it's Osceola County, like Orlando, going that way a little north,
Right.
because there's one sheriff here, Sheriff Judd. He's constantly, we just arrested 400 people, we just saved 75 people, constant, like every week there's a big project going on up here to get
Wow.
people. They've been arresting people, and like I mentioned earlier, there's a new law now. There's a very, if they catch you child trafficking, anything to do with a child, rape, things like that, you can get the death penalty now. Okay. You can get the death penalty in Florida. Okay.
Mhm.
Because I'm sorry, a person who attacks a child in any form, I mean, I'm not judge, right? God is, but
Right.
I mean, it's very difficult.
Well,
Um,
funny you say that, because just the other day I'm going to read this verse that we posted on our social media that says, "Let the little children come to me. Do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these."
but
So if we are God's children, okay, if we are God's creation, because we were all of us were made in the image of God.
mhm,
He loves us. So imagine the consequence if you hurt one of us. There is a consequence. You know, redemption can happen, healing can happen,
Right.
but you're not exempt from the consequences. And if
Right.
that's a consequence that the state has put in place, then you have to confront it. So, to anyone that's out there listening, think about it before you do something crazy. You're going to get the
Exactly.
death penalty in the
Yep.
state of Florida.
Yep. So, and if you need help, there's people out there,
Yeah.
which I just got, is that there are people out there doing this that have been
Yes.
victims
Yes,
themselves, and now
correct.
they're in the cycle. So they're completely torn apart. Okay, then there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, because you have to heal yourself. You have to love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, you're going to get into this dark world.
Correct.
So you kind of
Correct.
lose yourself in that. I don't know, I just got that. I mean, God just sent me a little thing. But you know, it's something that we need to talk about it more. And I'm so happy that Ty reached out for me to interview you. And now
Awesome.
we're gonna talk, because I really want to be involved. And
Yes.
because I see what's going on, and I'm always, it's just like you said, it's awareness, education. People, open your eyes and your ears. Okay, there are in our neighborhood here, I see child missing, child abduction, blah blah blah. I go look on the press release, what's going on, and I start looking. It's disturbing when you start going in Broward County. When I lived in Broward County, I went to the sheriff department. You go there, you can go to the news, and it tells you, or you can see where all the people that are missing, and it says missing, missing, missing. I mean, hundreds of people are missing in Broward County. Okay. And I'm like, nobody talks about this.
Mm-hmm.
In the news, they one, two people. No, there are hundreds, if
Mm-hmm.
not thousands. There's what, 2 million people in Broward. So you can
Mm-hmm.
imagine.
Correct.
So people have to be aware that once you're outside in the surroundings, you have to look around. Like I scan at the supermarket, I'm always scanning where I park. Okay, things, those are little things. Never park next to a van. Okay, any kind of van that blocks the view, do not park there. Park far away if you have to, so you can see your car. Okay, that's what I do. Two, don't go late at night to the supermarket. And if you
Yeah.
do, go with somebody, but you have to be aware. You have to be aware. If you're scared, tell somebody from the supermarket to walk you to your car. Oh yeah, do you need help? Yeah, I need help, and you go out with them. Right?
Yeah.
Little things like that, just to.
We, every bit of precaution helps. Every bit of precaution helps. And also online too. Be careful who you're talking to online. Don't trust your life to any man that says, "Oh my God, you're so pretty. Oh, are you looking for a boyfriend?" and this and that. And you might get the biggest catfish of your life, and it's not going to look pretty.
Yeah.
It's
And that
not
goes
going to
for
look
all
pretty.
sexes. That goes for men and women, because
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
don't know who you're talking to. You text, "Oh, hi, honey," whatever. And how do you know it's a woman? Or how do you
Right.
know it's not the trafficker talking to you, lure you into a
Right.
certain location? And
Right.
then all of a sudden, where am I? Now it's too late. Once you're in the trap, he's not going to be alone, or the person's not going to be alone.
Correct.
So it's just like the shows you see on TV. They have Law and Order SVU, that they talk about rape and trafficking, and people think it's just a show. It's not just a show, it's a message. They
Yeah.
show things that are disturbing sometimes, but that's what's really happening.
Yeah.
It's not just a make believe. These are from things that happen. What do you think, how they write shows? It comes
Yeah.
from real life stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We can get into this, and trust me,
Oh, I
Alida, we
know.
can be here all day, and
I
I
know.
love
I
it.
don't
I
want to
love your energy. I
keep
love
you.
our conversation.
Oh, we'll have
And
you again. We'll have you again.
yes, I would love to come back again and expand more, and maybe we could do something live one day. We're both
Yeah,
in Florida. I'm only a drive
exactly.
away. So I'm here to serve the community. That's where my heart is. That's where God has placed me. So if there is anyone out there that's listening to this that wants to get involved, please reach out to us, reach out to Alida. She has a way of how she can connect with me. So I'm excited to see what happens after this.
Thank you so much for your time. And we went over, but it's all good information, and it'll be online. So everybody, you can see this replay. I'm going to share it, everybody, so people be aware of what's going on in the world and the surroundings around us. So thank
Awesome.
you so much. And
Thank you,
have an
Alida.
awesome day. And I know God is blessing you and continue to bless you in your journey.
Amen. Thank you.
Happy people. Now there we go. Mwah. Thank you. Bye. So what else can I say? This was, oh, I want to go away. There you go. Incredible conversation. You know me, if I do a podcast, I can go on forever, right? I could go on for an hour, 2 hours, but this was very important. I did this live at a impromptu time because you know what? Information comes to me and I find that God's telling me, get it out there right away. Don't sit on it. Don't do a recording and then put it later. No, it's important now in the moment. Okay. Because this is real right now. As we're talking, somebody's being trafficked. Think about that right now. Somebody can be being abused. Somebody, I mean, it's horrible to think about that way, but it's true. You can't be blinded and walk through life like nothing's happening when you're seeing it around you. So just be aware of things, and if you see something, like Tanya said, say something. Something's not right, say something. You know that feeling, you get that feeling, especially us women. We have that other sense, right? We have that intuition that we know something's wrong. How many times as a woman, how many times have you gone to a club or you went out with your friends and you're like, something ain't right, right? You like something's not right. I mean, I grew up in New York and I used to go to the clubs, and I tell you, I think I had an angel. God protected me all my life because I've been in places like the Ritz, the Cat Club back in the day, the Palladium, right? All these clubs, the roller skating rings that we used to go to back in the 70s, 80s, right? We had a great time doing that. And I don't know, maybe things were happening back then. They probably were, and we didn't even know. We didn't know, you know. Somebody once said, "Oh, so and so is missing." We're like, "What do you mean she's missing?" Like we didn't understand. How can you be missing, right? And now we know why. So make sure if you need any more information, please connect with me. I'll get with Tanya, and let's just build this community out there and build more awareness. So I hope everybody has a great day. I'm gonna replay this, and anybody who's watching live, I'm gonna put a little announcement in there. I want to replay it tonight when I usually do my podcast because I think it's very important information. So you know me, I'm like Spanglish rebooted, you know, I'm all doing different things. So we spread the information in different platforms so that way it gets out to more people. And that's what we want to do. So I hope everybody has a blessed day, and I will see you later when I come on at about 5:30 today. I'll be back live, and we're going to talk more about this human trafficking and what you can do to help. Okay. And if you want to get involved with the companies and things like that, I mean, if God's already talking to me, I have to talk to Tanya later already because, um, God's nudging my heart already. Alita. And I'm like, come on, I can't do any more. Yes, you can. Every time I say no, God says, you got one more thing to do. So, but it's all good. It's about helping people in the community. And anyway, guys. So, anyway, thank you so much. And I got lost where I am, but it's okay. We will see you later.